Everybody, we are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. It is your favorite Raiders podcast channel, film breakdowns, whatever you want, whatever you want to call it. It is your favorite Raiders show, right? So Tape Don't Lie. You guys already know what to do. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it, right? If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. We got about 14 on the Mariota one. We got 5 on the last one. So so we appreciate all engagements. Leave a comment too. You want to leave a nice little comment for us. So you want to let us know how you feel about the show. Either way, like I said, we enjoy all engagement. And then make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL, and then make sure you follow BD at BD Williams 18. And then you also, check us out on Silver and Black Pride. We got our articles, BD dropping his top 15 defenses. I don't think the Raiders are going to be in that, but he's, I think we're already at the top 5. So we already, I think the Raiders are the top 5 defenses, but you never know. Maybe BD put him in there. Maybe BD's, he wants to have some positivity, put the Raiders in the top 5. So go ahead and check that out when that drops. And then, and also check out my ALPA pod. I dropped my top 15 quarterbacks. I gave up like my full on breakdown thoughts on Derek Carr. So if you ever want to know like my actual breakdown, full on thoughts, Raiders, coverage type of thing, just pure quarterback talk, go ahead and check that out. Tell me what you think about that. All right, BD, how you feeling, man? How you feeling about training camp?
So you're telling me Derek Carr made your top 15 quarterbacks list?
Yeah, he did make my top 15.
Nice. The Raiders did not make my top 15 defense list.
Yeah.
Not saying that they can't be. I just couldn't sit here, look everyone in the face, write an article saying that they're going to be in the top 15. Like, we have not seen any proof of anything like that yet. But obviously I'll be really excited if they approach that or even exceed that. But right now, we gotta temper our expectations a little bit. Yeah, sure. A lot of fans like to be like super optimistic, and I used to be a fan like that, in my younger days. And then I just get bit in the ass too many times. And now, I'm back down to earth. I have to see it first. So that's my thought process on that. So we had some things happen since we last convened and spoke to the audience here. One of the things was that the depth chart came out for the Raiders, right? Uh-huh. On the offensive side of the ball, it was pretty straightforward. Correct me if I'm wrong. Any surprises, things that you thought were weird on the offensive side of the ball? It was like, that was it, right?
The only thing, I thought was interesting is that Simpson was back in the incognito. I thought that
instead of good.
I thought that was a interesting look. I didn't really see anything else too crazy on the offensive side. It was pretty normal. Andre James, Nick Martin, usual wide receivers set up. So it wasn't nothing wild out there. They just got a lot of kind of wasted wide receivers. Nobody really talking about it. It feels like these wide receivers are pretty set in stone. So we'll see though. Keelan Doss is he's in his 3rd year in the offense. He's been around. Marcel Aitman's still around. I don't know. that dude is just hanging. Yeah. He's still around, which is crazy. So but Keelan Doss, he might be somebody that can try to sneak past Zay. I don't know, it's gonna be trouble for that, but Snead looked like he's looking pretty good from the camp videos that we saw. So
if Zay Jones got a single digit number and he gets beat out, okay, that's like, come on. You don't give someone a single digit if they're gonna get cut, okay? Well, we'll see. But on the defensive side of the ball, though, there was some things that seemed to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
Biggest elephant in the room was Tanner Muse being listed as the number 1 strong side linebacker. And I think that caught a lot of Raider Nation reporters, people like that, off guard, saying Tanner Muse is starting. And, I put out a tweet and I said that, last year Gus Bradley was in base personnel, meaning 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and it was like 6% of the snaps. So, you can't be a starter if you only play 6% of the snaps, right? So is a Sam linebacker a starting position? No, he is a sub player. He's a substitutional player. Much like the fullback comes in, even though Alec Ingold is the number one fullback, he's not a quote unquote starter. He's going to play a lot less than the majority of the other skill position players on the offense. Same with the strong side linebacker. It's almost like the fullback of the defense.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah. And then Keyshawn Nixon, second string corner. Look, I've been pimping this man. What have I been saying? What have I been saying about Keyshawn Nixon this entire time? Okay. But we got to take it all with a grain of salt because Gerald McCoy is like fifth string, and we know that's not going to happen. So we don't. This is just stuff that has to be put out. There's like the NFL goes, okay, time to release your depth charts, and then the media department goes, okay, who's been starting? Who's been playing with the ones and the twos and the threes, and they just slap this together. It's not like the actual depth chart that the players are going to see posted in the locker room at some point. This is different than that. So yeah. Any other thoughts on the depth chart before we move on?
No, man. No other thoughts on the depth chart. Just I will say that offensively is pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy. The Keyshawn Nixon one, I didn't even notice because I just figured he's going to be special teams type of thing. So I didn't really think it was like he's going to be playing with the twos. But we'll see, man. I mean, he's on he's on the. It looks like he's always getting featured. He's a little bit, showing up a little bit on the Gus Bradley mic'd up a little bit. I think I'm just trying to remember. I just watched it, but he was showing up a little bit there. But yeah, so that was something I didn't really notice at the time that even happened. So it wasn't something that was too crazy. But just show how unofficial it is. Gerald McCoy was like the fifth string or something like that. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's
not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Yeah. Do you think that there's a legit battle for the third running back spot right now?
Like right now? No, not anymore. Not a theoretic left.
So Jalen Richard over Trey Regis, any of these guys? Emmons, Bo Scarborough.
They're gonna take Jalen because Jalen knows the offense. If Kenyon Drake or let's say Kenyon Drake or Jacobs goes down and Kenyon Drake has to take more of the load, Jalen Richard could be that third down back. He blocks good enough, and he runs pretty good routes and stuff like that. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. He's gonna have to spend the year in plexiglass.
Yeah.
Case.
Yeah. For sure. Like it's Kirk Cousins.
Like Kirk Cousins. Yeah. I guess Lamar Jackson's also in that boat too. So. Man,
the dude's gonna be recovering. They're gonna feel a little foggy in September, week 1. We'll see.
Okay, let's move on. I think that this is a good going from we were talking about Tanner Muse playing strong side linebacker, but a couple of days ago we heard Malcolm Koonce say that that was his first practice. I believe this is on Tuesday. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
where he was practicing at the linebacker position. So we thought, Marcus and I both hit each other up about that. That's an interesting, turn of events, I'd say. So I'll just talk about maybe some of the schematic implications for Gus Bradley, and then I'll let you go and tell us about, your scouting report on Malcolm Koonce. But to me, that just means, Tanner Muse, he's a former defensive back, even though he's a big defensive back, 6'1", 230-pound defensive back. That's still a relatively undersized linebacker, especially a Sam linebacker and an underfront who's going to have to be on the line of scrimmage, stand right across from the tight end, play 9 technique. And I think, we saw KJ Wright get offered. We saw, we see Tanner Muse playing here, but they tried Corey Littleton over there at that spot earlier in training camp, mini camps. And now they're trying Malcolm Koonce here. So I just think that means Gus Bradley's not satisfied with how this works on 3rd and 1 when they need, a stop. They put base personnel in, which is that's the only situation that they'd put base personnel in really obvious run situations, short yardage situations. Gus Bradley wants to get into an underfront. And right now, I don't think Tanner Muse or any really linebacker on the Raiders fits that profile of a Sam linebacker in an underfront. They're bigger. They should be around 250 pounds, 6'3", 250 pounds, like almost like a defensive end size. And so that's Malcolm Koonce is closer, right? In that profile of a player to do that. And so kudos to you, because you did say, what about Malcolm Koonce, right?
Yeah.
And I said no, but it looks like you were right. So tell me why you were right.
Yeah, because Malcolm Koonce, he played in a 2-point stance the whole time that he was at Buffalo. So he was in a 2-point stance. He was never in a 3-point stance. They never rushed that way. They kind of rushed him like he was an outside linebacker, which I thought was interesting when he said that. He's like, I never played linebacker, but I was like, well, you didn't really play defensive end either, though, at Buffalo. So I thought it was interesting when he said that, because they did drop him sometimes, but not a lot. I mean, it wasn't enough that you would think that he knows coverage really. So like I always think this is kind of be good for him. I mean, it'll help him, get some action. Get action early.
Yeah.
Right. And then he can, figure out how to play, defensive end. I mean, because he has to learn how to set the edge better. I mean, he's more of like a gap shooter, try to kind of, jump around you, make a play with the run, than more of like a blow up the play, kind of set the edge guy with strength and power. You know what I mean? So he has to, learn how to set the edge a little bit, gain some strength. So I think it'll be a good fit for him. It's just the worry more about is in coverage, because he's never done coverage. We don't know about him, going to the flats and stuff like that and playing that in cover 3 if a team does go play action and he can't rush the passer, but it does add a blitzer too. If you want to start blitzing, if you want to bring him in and you can blitz a little bit as well. So it can help on some different elements. And, he can, that's what he does. I mean, you get him going forward, especially with like rushing 5 and he's with like the 5th guy, he's gonna cause some trouble. So yeah. I mean, he could be a movable piece there, and while he learns how to play coverage, and they could work it out. But I mean, the way it's looking, he might be the best fit for that information. You know what I mean? And I want to give a shout out to Sean Reed, because he was like the only one that like noticed that he was moving around. And he asked that question, and we never would have known that he's playing linebacker unless Sean Reed was like, why were you moving around so much today? It looked like you were like all over the place. And, we saw you lining up in different places. And so if he didn't ask that question, we never would have knew. So, good observation by him, because the next person was like, oh, it's Las Vegas. Are you adjusting to the weather? So,
Sorry. We got to get see if we can get press passes next year for training camp.
Yeah, because they need help, bro. They need help up there. So
these guys.
Shout out to Sean Reed for that. But
so here's my thing. Okay, when you said what about Malcolm Koonce, and I initially said I don't think so. It's because best case scenario, we're talking about a guy coming from the MAC. It's a big jump in competition, and like it's unfair to be like, oh well, Khalil Mack did it, right? Like, come on. He, as a situational rusher, coming in and just learning how to rush the passer in the NFL, like what works in the NFL, like that's enough of a job. Now having to also learn how to play linebacker, and now you have to understand, how to stop the run, because you're only coming in run situations, whereas before when you're a situational rusher, you're just going in and rushing the pass. Like there was no run responsibility for Malcolm Koonce before this, right? Yeah. Like if he's coming in on 3rd and 7. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to call green or go or something like that. That just lets the defensive line know, peel your ears back. They're not even playing the run. Like that's what I thought would be like the best, like small bite for a rookie pass rusher. That's the best way to get them ready to go rushing the passer in the NFL. But now he's got to learn another position where it's just the run. Okay. It'll be 3rd and 1. It'll be, he'll be, a curl flat player if it goes, play action. Now we got twice as much stuff from Malcolm Koonce to try to figure out, and I'm sure like he can get it. I just think that I just hope that it doesn't come to the detriment of him improving enough to be a quality or impactful pass rusher, down the stretch for this year. Hopefully it doesn't make that development happen next year or something like that.
Yeah.
That's my only concern with it. And I think it is like out of necessity because there is no linebacker who is 6'3", 250 pounds.
Yeah, like, exactly.
You can't like putting Tanner Muse on the edge in an underfront or Corey Littleton or any of these guys. They're all 6'1", 230, right? Like putting those guys on the edge trying to stand up like, the Mercedes Lewises of the world, like they're going to crumple them. Like the blocking tight ends, the Lee Smiths of the world are going to just run those guys straight out of bounds, right? Yeah. They're going to throw them out the club. So you need a guy with longer arms. You need a guy with, more bulk to set the edge. And if they can't figure it out, Gus Bradley can't get into an underfront. He has to stay in an even front. But, and we can talk about that later, but he wants to be able to get into an underfront to stop the run for sure.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit. I mean, it's kind of like, because Bruce Irvin used to play Sam, right? So, Bruce Irvin used to play that role. And, he's 250 and then he's a defensive end basically. And that's the role he used to play. And then they used to just kind of switch him in on third down. Still, he would move at the defensive end and rush the passer, still able to get like 11 sacks and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of the idea. It's probably like, we tried Muse there. We got Koonce. I mean, he's got the build for it. He's kind of just as athletic as Bruce Irvin, because we never got to see him test. That's one guy that didn't get to test this offseason that who knows where he went if he actually tests, because that bend, that's some athleticism. There's something there. Just don't bend like that. And like, not test well. So since he has that ability, I think they might try to find a way to get him on the field. So he might be having just like such a great camp that they're like, we got to try to find a way to get him on the field. That might be something that's happening too, that he's just out there balling out in camp and they're like, if we could just find a way to get him on the field, look like he's picking it up. And, what he said at his press conferences, I'll get in where I fit in. So he's just trying to get on the field. So if he's going to help play linebacker, he's like, I'm going to learn how to play linebacker, and then, do what they need me to do. So
they say, and forgive me, listeners, if I've said this before, they say for every starting rookie you have on your team, that's one guaranteed loss, right? We already know Trayvon Moore is going to start at free safety. We already know that Nate Hobbs, Nevin Lawson can't start. He's suspended, so he'll be out there. Tanner Muse is essentially a rookie. I know that doesn't count. Malcolm Koonce now, there's going to be situations where it's just like, and this is what sets the NFL apart from, the college game or any game, is like a 3rd and 1. It's so situational. Just like having the attention to detail is like the most important thing. And when you have so many rookies including Malcolm Koonce, like they're all going to make a mistake here and there. Veterans make mistakes. So like the rookies, shouldn't be like, this is not me knocking anyone, but I'm hesitant about it because if you're in for just situational football, as a rookie, like your job just got a lot harder.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. Next thing is Allegiant Stadium was opened and the Raiders went over there and had a practice at Allegiant Stadium. And I'm pretty sure everyone was told in attendance to not film. There was, however, one brave soul. Okay. What D Money 209. Okay. Who posted a bunch of clips on Twitter. And it was cool seeing it because everything that I've talked to you about Gus Bradley's defense so far, okay, cover 1 cross, eyes blitz coverage, cover 3, the seam alert when you get 2x2. I've talked to you about all this stuff, and we saw literally all those things from the clips that he put out there. So I thought that was cool. And then also, Marcus, we got your choice routes and we got your Yankee concept, right? So you have to be happy with that, right?
Yeah, I had a good day. I was super happy about the choice routes because Henry Ruggs was running them. which was super exciting to see that. That shows that he's developing, and they're starting to trust him a little bit more with those choice routes, because with the choice route is slant out, or you find the zone and you do a little hitch route. So to see him run those is really exciting. The Chiefs game last year, when he had those 2 catches and he was scoring a lot of touchdowns, scored 1 touchdown, but he had a couple big plays. They gave him a little chance to run a choice route. Last year, he made the wrong decision. Juan Thornhill, and they're playing a little cover 5, cover 7 look, whatever. And he almost came down and picked it because he didn't see Juan Thornhill, but Carr ended up, holding on to the football and then, almost throwing it like shove it to Jalen Richard. He couldn't catch it, but that almost was a pick 6, and that would have been like the same exact play as the year before. It would have been a totally different outcome, but he never ran a choice right after that again. So, we're excited to see that he's back there getting those targets, because, if you're first round pick or you're picked top 15 in the 12, you just don't want a speed guy. You want a high volume wide receiver that can be leaned on for more than just, a deep pass or whatever, especially if he gets the intermediate game going. Last year he was pretty good in the intermediate game when he was targeted there. So he only had 9 targets there. He had 6 catches, 111 yards. So if he can get that going and get that element of his game where he becomes a high volume receiver and he's catching underneath routes, he's catching hitch routes, and then he's hitting you deep too, hitting you on a deep post, it will change the offense a lot, because teams they'll be scared of him, right? Which if he's going underneath, he's going to get a whole lot of catches. And then, that one chance they come up, he's just still going to take shots, and they'll be able to move him around, and it'll mess with the defense a lot, and it'll open up everything else for everybody. If he could start hitting things underneath, it'd be super important for this offense. So that was very exciting to see those choice routes. So, and Henry Ruggs running them. It's just not like Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. So,
we also saw the Yankee concept.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a variation of the Yankee concept, where instead of, the receiver running the big post, they run the shake route. So they go post, then to corner off play action. That's called the shake route. But, Derek Carr threw the over route, through the dig deep, right? Yeah. We saw the defense attempt to adjust, to that, and I think that the shake route made it a little like it caught them off guard, and someone was supposed to nail down on that crosshair and no one did, and it was wide open. But it's good for them to see that, have that on film, so they can know like how to adjust that. I'm pretty sure I've seen the Chiefs run that. I'm pretty sure that's what they ran against the 49ers, who are a cover 3 team in the Super Bowl. That big play to Tyreek Hill was that Yankee with the shake route instead of like the post.
Wasp or whatever.
Wasp, yeah, they call it Wasp. Yeah. So that's a good thing for them to, get on film and get, the ball tightened down, figure out how to cover that up. Plus it was mostly second string guys who were playing on defense, and then the other thing was Foster Moreau had that touchdown. We saw the touchdown from Foster Moreau in the red zone. Four verts. That's another famous way to attack cover 3. And unfortunately, Tyreek Gillespie, he's the down safety to the tight end side. It's a 2-by-2 formation. So there's a wide receiver and a tight end on the short side of the field, and then to the wide side of the field, there's two wide receivers. And so it's Tyreek Gillespie. He comes down, walks down to the side with the 2 tight ends, and he gets a vertical from number 2. When you're in 2-by-2, when you're in cover 3 in Gus Bradley's scheme, you have to have a seam alert, meaning the strong safety needs to carry that into the end zone. But he kind of just collisions Foster Moreau and just lets him run right down the seam. And it was an easy throw and catch. So, Tyreek Gillespie, that was like his second practice or something like that. He's been hurt a lot. These mistakes are going to happen, that's why you do this now. It's good for them to get on film the common ways that teams attack cover 3 so that they can, iron everything out.
Yeah. 4 verts, seen that in the red zone. That's one of their best plays in the red zone. So, that's great that they execute that. They have to keep attacking in the red zone with those looks, especially when they go into like 12 personnel and they can this year when Jason Witten is not on the field, they can really stretch the defense with Darren Waller and Foster Moreau. So it's not like they could just, act like those guys aren't going to, beat them deep. You know what I mean? It's not, Foster Moreau has a little bit of speed too.
You think
like a 4.6.
You think Foster Moreau can beat Jason Witten in a race?
Yeah, I think I can. I'm pretty sure I can. All right. But Foster Moreau, like he ran like a 4.6, man. So he has like he has good speed, right? And so he becomes dangerous in the red zone when you're running 4 verts, and especially when they ran that like the scissors routes that they used to run with Darren Waller and Foster Moreau there, from the Colts game a couple of years back. They scored a touchdown on that play, on that scissors in the red zone. So getting him back into the fold, especially into the 4 verts into the red zone, I think it's gonna help them a lot, because I think Carr trusts him to make plays. So he's gonna throw it to him in a tight window when we're in the 4 verts. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be a big play for them in the red zone this year, because they executed it really well. I mean, Nelson Aguilar did really well on that. He scored like 3 touchdowns on 4 verts in the red zone. I know one of them was on the 21-yard line, but basically it's kind of the same thing. So they did well on the 4 verts there. So I think they're going to do well again.
Yeah. So anything else that we want to talk about?
Not really. I mean, nothing really crazy that I saw from there. It's same plays. I saw a little drive concept, saw a little, saw the Yankee, saw some choice concepts. So, it's not going to be a crazy changing offense. I don't think. I still think he's going to have some of his sleeve for the Ravens there and can be ready for. But really nothing crazy, nothing wild that happened up there, man. On that I saw, pretty usual stuff.
Last thing that I wanted to get, hear your thoughts on was Tuesday's practice, right? Tuesday's practice. It sounded like the defense is really getting after it. They picked off the quarterbacks a bunch of times, stripped the ball. Should we be worried about Marcus Mariota throwing a bunch of interceptions in practice? What do you think?
Not necessarily throwing interceptions in practice. I'll be worried if it depends on when it was. So if it's 11 on 11s, I don't feel as bad as it was if it's on 7 on 7s. 7 on 7s, you should not be throwing interceptions at all. You just shouldn't be. So there's no pressure, there's no rush. It's just you back there. It's like a video game. You're like playing practice. You're a pro quarterback. You shouldn't be throwing interceptions, basically what I'm saying. So if you have all the time in the world, you should be able to find somebody open, or just check it down, or whatever you want to do. I mean, that's what they do at the Senior Bowl all the time, is check it down. So I was a little worried about him throwing interceptions in 7 on 7 more than I was in team play. So if he's not throwing interceptions in 7 on 7 anymore, we're good. That's what you want to avoid. It's not good to be doing that. It's just so easy. I don't understand how you could do it. So
I also feel like, this is the time to throw interceptions. It shouldn't be something that worries fans. Like, you want Marcus Mariota to think, like, feeling out what he can get away with, what windows he can throw into. Like, this is the time is now to do that. So that shouldn't be something that worries people. It is practice. We're talking about practice here. And then also, you should be excited. You should be happy. The defense is causing turnovers, right? Like, that's what we want. We want the defense to start making a big impact in the game. So you can't, turnovers would not happen if you don't get them in practice. Like, if you don't get turnovers in practice, you think you're just going to all of a sudden magically get them in the game. Like, no, it's something that you have to practice doing. And so it sounds like they're making that a big emphasis, not just interceptions, but also punching the ball out in practice. Like, that's part of football. So I think, it's good to hear, yes, every defensive coordinator says we're going to make that an emphasis, but if they actually do make that emphasis or not. And then, the proof is in the pudding here. If we're saying about 5-6 turnovers in practice, it sounds like they are emphasizing it.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting them. I mean, they're probably learning the system. Probably, they're getting their butts kicked by the offense, because they're learning the defense. The offense is pretty much they're already set. They already know what they're doing, especially, even, everybody's been in the system for like what, 3 years at least. And Mariota's 2, Peterman's 3, Carr's 4. So man, I think it's Peterman 4.
Did Peterman come in the beginning?
He came in 2018, right? I think so. I think he
Yeah.
did, because he got cut. And I think he picked him up after he got cut. He's got some kind of love affair with him for some reason. So, but yeah, everybody. So the offense is being ahead of schedule. So yeah, it makes
2018.
sense. It makes sense for the defense to start to pick it up as we get along, as we go further into training camp, because they're going to get more comfortable with the calls. They're going to get more comfortable with what's happening. So this is a good thing, because I think they're, it's showing that they're a lot of growth, and they can keep going and get a whole lot better,
Yeah.
Because, they got the Ravens coming week 1.
It's important. It's important that, like they get that feeling, they get the practice, the reps, what it feels like, what they did to get that interception, so that they can learn from it. Yeah. It's super important for the defense to have those days like that, and it just ups the competition level, and probably what has been happening for the majority of Derek Carr's tenure here with Gruden, and when Paul Guenther was defensive coordinator, they probably killed the defense every game, every practice, just judging off of the product on the field, so it's good that there is actually competition, and that's just going to help them also with this preseason game, getting some of these younger guys ready to go for what it feels like, for actual NFL quarterback to throw to you in a game like situation. You need that. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real good thing, especially, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. But what I was going to talk about is that next week, I think when they do the joint practices, we're going to find out a lot more about what this team looks like. So I'm really excited about that, because
I didn't want to say that because I thought that was going off topic. Yes, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Because they're playing the Rams, and the joint practices are that is like they're not like we're just the quarterback is going to get hit for sure. But those dudes are playing, they're balling, that's competition. So we're gonna kind of see where this offense is at. I'm kind of excited about that. I'm trying to see where this how good this offense really is, or where they could be going. Because if they go out there and they put out a good showing, which I think they will, I think they're gonna put out a good showing. I mean, they're gonna move the ball, and the Rams are all about stopping the deep ball, and they're not really they like letting things go underneath. So
new defensive coordinator, so. That's
true.
It's gonna be a whole new scheme. They have our guy. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Atlanta defensive coordinator from last year.
Oh, Raheem Morris. Yeah.
Morris. They got Raheem Morris over there. It's a cover one, heavy scheme, single high, heavy scheme. And so that's a little different than what the Rams have been doing in the past. They've been a 2-high team. So it'll be interesting to see what changes on defense, I guess, from just like a pure football fan related, topic. But then also I think that it'll be really good to see in practice, in the game. Sean McVay has a lot of experience going up against Pete Carroll teams, Seattle, big cover 3 squad. San Francisco, Robert Saleh, when it came over from Seattle, he used to be Gus Bradley's linebackers coach. He ran a heavy cover 3 scheme. Sean McVay has a lot of experience attacking cover 3 schemes. So that's going to be a great, barometer for the defense to see like exactly where they are when you have a coach who literally like the only way he can get out of his division if he beats like these really good cover 3 defenses, 3 or 4 times a year. So it'll be a great, test for the defense. I'm really looking forward to that. So, but I didn't want to get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that, because that's kind of like my real litmus test there.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. All right. So I think that's it for me. Anything else from you, bro?
No, I'm good, bro. We're good.
Raider Nation, you guys always come through. You guys are always supporting us. We really appreciate it. Thanks for liking, subscribing, posting these things. Shout out to the most unknown the most known unknown for posting our stuff on Reddit. We appreciate you for that, bro. Shout out to, everyone who keeps on repping Tape Don't Lie. We got some things in the works for you. We got some things that we're gonna hopefully be able to unveil later on this week. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow myself at BD Williams 18 on Twitter. Make sure you follow Marcus Johnson at the Marcus John NFL to keep up with those updates. Peace out, Raider Nation.
Peace.